Welcome to a look into the future, where we ask a simple question. What would you do if you can go into the future and ask yourself questions? We kind of limit a little bit to just how would you grow your CPA firm? How would you transition to advisory services, which nobody can figure out? There's no lottery numbers here, but we get to ask Paul Latham and learn from the knowledge we need to evolve our firms into advisory services. Because Paul already did that. We can just learn from his knowledge, which really helps us get there. And Paul brings three amazing key things with him. Number one, he's built a successful accounting practice in the UK. So he really understands how we as accountants think. In fact, he built his firm into an advisory powerhouse, which sold for over $45 million in 2001. Number two, he's taken a business public, building it to a market value in excess of $400 million. So he really understands what business owners need and value, and what we as accountants need to provide to them. And finally, as I said, number three, we don't need to invent the time travel, the flux capacitor, time travel, or anything else. We can learn from the transition Paul made 20 years ago in the UK into building an advisory service powerhouse. As here today in the US, we're all trying to figure out, firms of all sizes, trying to figure out what that means and how do we do it. I'm Garrett Wagner, your entrepreneurial CPA channel host, and I'm joined as always by the time traveler, the legend, Paul Latham of Handrock Solutions. Now we're continuing on our series on the 6 key areas of business advice. And we're on to number 4 here. But Paul, before we do number 4, you're impressing me with some pop culture knowledge here. You know, Paul has impressive repertoire here. So I don't know what number 4 is. It's going to be a surprise for me. So with that, Paul, I'll kick it off to you.
Thank you, Gareth. I won't try and impress anyone else with my knowledge of pop culture. But number 4 is actually all to do with how you deliver growth, and it's around the subject of either tangible resources or intangible resources to deliver growth. And just before we start this one, a couple of things. One, I think this is the number 1 biggest area of business advisory change in the last 25 years. And number 2, this particular area, I always think I should dedicate it to a lady called Marchenka, because she, many years ago, introduced me to the subject of virtual. And ever since then, I've really focused into virtual. So this one is dedicated to Marchenka. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you and take you through it. Okay, so as usual, a little bit of context at the beginning. We're working more than 5 years away from a business exit. We're focusing on growth. We're focusing on the 6 key aspects of business advice that represent about 80% of everything you need to know about business advisory or general business advice. In terms of where we're up to so far, I thought it would be a good time to summarize. So what we've covered so far, in episode 30, we did number 1, add value or efficient or separate. Episode 31 and 32, we did it in 2 parts, 4 ways to grow a business, which usually leads to value proposition. Episode 33, key area number 3, 7 wastes. And today, episode 34, key area number 4, tangible or intangible delivery. And I'm also emphasizing there at the top, think of all these as discrete boxes of advisory products or services that you can deliver to your clients. And so, okay, looking at tangible or intangible delivery. And as I just said, this, I think, is the number 1 business change in the last 25 years, that shift from tangible to intangible resources. If you're a business that's looking to see, okay, how am I going to deliver the business growth? What resources am I going to use to deliver business growth? So if we look, first of all, on the tangible side, if we went back, into the last century and you were looking to grow a business, then probably what you'd be thinking about was, let's have a bigger building. Let's have more machines. Let's employ more people. That's how we all did it. That's how it was done for the previous 100 years or so. However, if you look today on the intangible side, instead of bigger buildings, it tends to be, let's use virtual premises. Instead of more machines, it's let's use technology. And instead of more employees, we increasingly look at subcontracting people. And so rather than the tangible building or the machines or the employees, it's a shift to the intangible. And the whole point about those things there, virtual premises, technology, subcontracting, they're sort of difficult to touch. But some of the resources go beyond that. And there's words like brand and data and relationships, and they're all intangible resources, and they're all incredibly important in how you grow a business. If you now look at it, that sort of top box, the virtual premises, the technology, and the subcontract, that's really how a business grows both efficiently and effectively. But it's the other types of resources like building and solidifying your business brand, or capturing your data, or making the relationships work more effectively. Those are the areas that usually really bring value to a business. And just think about the successful businesses. Uber own no taxes, but they have great technology. Airbnb, similarly, they own no hotel rooms. Amazon, they have no bookstores, but they're incredibly successful businesses. So my big piece of advice, number 4, to business advisors is always encourage your clients to think virtual first rather than traditional delivery methods, because you see, most business owners tend to be a little bit stuck in the past, and they'll be thinking about more machines, employing people, and so on. Try and get them to be thinking intangible. Think about virtual, think about technology. How could we do it by subcontracting people? How can we build and solidify our brand? And that's the end of number 4, Garrett. So I don't know if you have any questions on that one.
Paul, I think that's an important one, because it really hits on the fact that, like you said, most businesses now, not all, but a lot, they don't have to be physical like they used to, or even if they need to be physical, whether it's gig labor, gig resources, whatever it is, there's so much that can be pulled in virtually now, and that impacts almost all businesses. I mean, even just kind of the reception function can either be outsourced or converted to technology. So it impacts everybody. And it's that little advice we can do for our clients. I think, as you said before, we don't have to know everything, but we can nudge them in that direction.
Well, just go back to the previous episode where I said, what you do first is you brainstorm and then you implement. So the first step is always brainstorm, and an hour or 2 spent with a client thinking about how we could do it differently, whether we get more efficient or more effective or build business value by using intangible resources, is always an hour or 2 well spent. Brainstorm it, and then let's worry about how we do it. Where could we do this a different way or a better way? It's always time well spent.
Yeah, because you got to figure out how you do it first before you kind of dive in there. So once again, time well spent. Number 4, think about that delivery method. Think about going virtual. And then, Paul, I love this. So they're throwing out a shout out to somebody else. Should we get them on the show next time too?
We could do indeed. In fact, if we could arrange that with all possibility, I'd like to do that. But I always think it's worth actually, handing around the praise. And that lady has certainly helped me to discover over time the importance of the virtual relationship.
Perfect. I love it. Well, Paul, as always, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the insight. I can't wait to see number 5 and 6, how to keep providing business advice. So stay tuned. And if you're thinking, hey, maybe my firm isn't ready to get into this, maybe we are, stop wondering and know for certain where you stand today. Take a minute and sign up for your own free biz survey and get an objective assessment of how prepared your firm is for the future. As a special offer for watching the show, we'll provide you the results, your biz score, and a quick follow-up meeting. There's a link below. I highly encourage everybody to take a couple minutes and see how ready you are for future success. And as always, thank you for watching. Click the button to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we challenge you to take action to change the world and invest in yourself.